Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Arizona Coyotes franchise mode here in NHL 22. So in last episode we had the re-sign stage and the draft, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the draft was nothing spectacular, but we still got more prospects in. But we also did make quite a bit of changes to this roster because we did decide to let go of guys like Braden Tracy and whatnot, because we do have a lot of guys in our system that are coming up to our lineup this upcoming season. Like if we look here, as you can see, Shishkinov would be in the lineup, and Isamov would be. We also go to the right side, we have Gallagher, who could be. And then defensively also we made some changes as we decided to trade away Samorukov. And Sasaki is going to be in our lineup this season on the top 6 pairing, which should be pretty interesting to see what he could do. He's a very solid defensive defenseman, and he's got X factors, so hopefully he becomes like a bona fide penalty killer for this team. And yeah, very excited to see what he could do. He's a little bit of a physical player. As you can see, he had 105 penalty minutes in the AHL last year, so hopefully he's not overly physical in the NHL, because obviously we do not need the penalty minutes, but he's definitely a very unique player at that. But anyways, before we get into free agency and change this team up a lot more even, because we do have to assign ourselves a new coach and all that type of thing, we do have a few comments to go over. So the first one is from Alien Pete. He says that 24-year-old power forward is interesting. I'd sign him and see if he could play with Shelley. I think it's time to consider moving Zadina and find a top 6 center. Not sure Hayden and Farinacci are ideal. I think Hayden would be a nice third line player who could play power play 2 and penalty kill 1. As for D-men, I think Heinola would fit perfectly, or nicely, he says. So, yeah, that 24-year-old power forward, I actually don't remember who that is because I literally just woke up, so I actually have to take a look at that again. So let's sort this by potential. He said the 24-year-old power forward. Who is the 24-year-old power forward again? I should have probably looked at this ahead of time, but I was kind of lazy. Oh, yeah, it was this dude, right? Yeah, he's 81 overall, only wants 1.2. Yep, he's a power forward, okay. Yeah, we should probably get this guy because he's got 95 passing. So you would think if you put him next to like a pure shooter like Shelley that he'd be probably picking up a lot of assists and whatnot. This guy was drafted by the Sharks in the first round. He played 1 year where he had 15 points in 65 games. And yeah, he looks like more of a passer because of the fact that his shooting percentage is so low. But he does have more shots than games played, which is interesting. AHL-wise, he had more assists and goals. Then he had more goals than assists. He's kind of a weird player based on all these attributes, like 99 offensive awareness, but that defensive awareness is not good. So he'd have to fit into our top 6 somewhere. So maybe we sign him, maybe we don't. I'll leave that for now. But yeah, he could be something we definitely want to try and pick up just to see if he works well with Shelley, because obviously we don't know the pro scout assessment right now. So he was also saying that he would consider moving Zadina. So let's take a quick look at what we could get for Zadina. I don't know if I'm going to be trading him yet, because I might just like sim a little bit of the season in this episode. Like, since we have a lot of off-season stuff to do technically, I think we might simulate only up to December the 1st or like maybe mid-December. And then we could try and figure out if we should be moving him away from Zadina or not, because he's still making 2 years at $9 million, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't it? Yeah, there he is. Yeah, he's still signed for this year at $9 million and next season at $9 million. So it's going to be a bit pricey to keep him around, and obviously we would, if we could let him go, we could free up a good chunk of cap space. So yeah, I think we will have to trade him at some point. Is it this season? I'm not 100% sure. Because he's a decent playoff player, it seems like, but his regular season numbers are always around 50 to 60 points, so we might want to look at trading him away at some point. So let's just take a look at what the fine trade thing shows us right now, but we probably won't trade him away in this episode because I want you guys to see some potential offers ahead of time. So let's see what the computer teams would offer us right now. So right now we only have one offer we could get for Zadina, and that's 2 seconds in Ethan Bear, which is a good defenseman, but he's probably around the same age as Zadina now, I would assume, and then 2 second-round picks isn't bad. If we could somehow get like a first instead, I wouldn't mind doing something like that. But we'd have to try and figure out who would replace Zadina in the top 6 and whatnot. But for right now, I think we'll hold on to Zadina just because why not? And once we get guys like Shishkinov growing and stuff like that, then we could definitely part away with that, because Shishkinov could be a very solid top 6 option as well at some point. He was also saying that he doesn't think that basically Hayton and Farinacci are ideal for our center core, but in a sense, I think that they're not that bad of players because Hayton, for example, he is kind of like dwindling. He's only signed for one more year, so we could always like replace him at some point. Connor Geeky's still our third line center at an 86 because I think most of his growth has been statistical. And Farinacci as like one of our top line guys, I think is still okay, but I'm really not liking his contract that we signed him to almost because he's still signed for 4 years at 8.25. So at some point we might have to actually trade away John Farinacci. But he is a pretty solid point producer. He's kind of went up and down lately, though, as you can see, 81 and 74 and 62, or 61 and 62. So he's a really good player, but the question is he going to be a player we need to win the Stanley Cup? I'm not too sure. So, yeah, there's his individual attributes, but at the end of his contract, definitely, I don't know if we'll be able to keep him around. But like I said, we could always trade him away before then because of the fact that he's still signed for 4 years at a price that's a bit pricey for an 84 overall. And then the next and final comment is from HawksFan88. He says, I think Lume would be the best option for a coach, considering your budget. Also, I would sign Cholowski for your third pairing and look for a solid backup goalie. So we have a little bit of a counter argument. So basically, Alien Pete said to go for Cholowski. He said to go for Heinola for that top six pairing, which I was looking at. I believe he was on the trading block, right? And then we also have to look at Cholowski, who was in free agency, just to see who would be the better option to bring in for that top six pairing. So yeah, Heinola is relatively cheap. Like I believe we could probably get him for like maybe a pick, because he wouldn't cost us probably too much. But we'll definitely take a look at that fine trade option and see what Winnipeg would want for him, because I don't think I did that at last episode. So what would it take to get Heinola away from Winnipeg? A third and a fourth. That's not too bad. I might be willing to do that. He's making 2.5, so we got to think about how much now Cholowski is making and if he actually guaranteed fits our top six pairing, because we're trying to look for a good defensive partner for Sasaki, considering this is his first year, so we want to find a good veteran player for him to play with. Okay, so let's take a look and find Cholowski. He should be somewhere on the left side, right? Or no, actually, he's a right-handed defenseman, isn't he? I don't even remember what side he normally plays. Maybe he's a left-handed. Maybe I'm going to have to sort this. Or was Cholowski on the block as well? Because Hawks fans did this sign him. Oh, there he is. He's an 81, so he's pretty much like the same overall. He wants some more money, and he's older, I believe. And he doesn't guarantee to fit any of our pairings. But that's from our old head coach, so we don't really know. Let's just do the trade, I think, for Heinola. It's a bit cheaper. He's on 1 year left as well, so it's not like he wants multiple years. Yeah, I think we're going to trade for Heinola. Get him as our top six pairing, and hopefully he still fits the new coach that we bring in, because we are going to be bringing in Lume after this. And then we also need to find ourselves a backup goalie. So... Heinola, what was it again? Yeah, third and a fourth is a pretty cheap deal to get a guy for 1 year, and hopefully Heinola works out here in Arizona. So welcome to the team, Heinola. Bye-bye third and fourth round pick, which is not a bad offer, I would say, to give away, because we're going to be making the playoffs more than likely again. So okay, so that's our top six pairing taken care of, which means I believe we still need a seventh defenseman. Yeah, we need, I think, still a seventh defenseman. We do have some RFAs, I believe, still unsigned, right? Yeah, just Pettersson needs to be still signed, technically. And we have 10.8 in cap space. So, technically, we still need a depth defenseman. And also, we need a backup goalie, because I'm not using Wallstead as a backup in the NHL. So, yeah, we basically just need a backup, and then we need Pettersson to re-sign here, and we are pretty much good to go, I think, for the season. And then also we need to get that coach, because that coach is important, because hopefully that coach gets us some good chemistry for this team, and hopefully players like Shelley could kind of wake up a bit with this new coach, because Shelley's been really struggling as of late in terms of the playoffs. So that's why I wanted to change the coaching staff, even if our old coach, which is this guy, had a very solid scheme fit. He's at a 51% scheme fit now, which is kind of interesting. So let's take a look at Lume, who is probably down here. I don't remember where Lume is. Oh, there he is. He's a veterans coach, NHL associate. B on offense, which is not too bad. A little bit worse defensively. B, A, C, and B in terms of influence. Not bad. And he's a 53% scheme fit. 53% is not really that great. But I mean, we could always change to coach at the start of the season as well. Yeah, we'll sign him for now as our head coach and see if he accepts that. And yeah, we'll check if he works with the chemistry well at the start of the season. If he doesn't, obviously, we could always replace him. But for now, I think that should be good in terms of the coach, as long as he signs up. And now let's sign ourselves a depth defenseman. Hopefully, we could find somebody relatively cheap, because we don't have a whole lot of cap space to work with, especially with Pettersson still as an RFA. And then we need to find ourselves an okay backup goalie. So depth defenseman wise, who's a cheap option? Connor Clifton we could always bring back, but he wants 800k. DeRoches. Oh, that's a real player. I thought that was EA generated. Does fit maybe our top 4 pairings, but that's our old coach again. Ilya Labushkin, our former player, but he's 35. Who do we want to bring in as that depth defenseman? Maybe Keane. He only has 82 defensive awareness. I want to find somebody that's good defensively. That's a depth defenseman. Let's start by defensive statistics and look at overall wise. Anybody that's like a depth defender? Who's the best depth defender at defense? It doesn't seem to be a whole lot. There's a couple minor top 2s. Adam Ginning, I guess, is the best in terms of defense. Oh yeah, 88 defensive awareness. That's pretty solid. I guess, yeah, we'll just bring in him just because of that defensive awareness. And yeah, we'll give him the 2-way deal, but he will be in our lineup as a depth defenseman. And then we need a backup goalie for Pettersson. Who do we want to bring in? Let's sort by role. So Hunter Jones is the best backup option. How does he simulate? Pretty solid if that's NHL level. Yet it is NHL level. Solid playoff numbers as well in Minnesota. So you know what? We're going to bring in Hunter Jones as our backup, I think. Because, actually, yeah, I think we can afford him. So we'll do that. And since no team is interested, let's try and get him for a little bit less. But yeah, Hunter Jones could be a solid backup for sure. If for some reason we can't get him, we could always go with like somebody like Nick Malik, but he doesn't look like he has good stats. Maybe Shogard. I don't even really know. Okay, so those are our signings. We addressed the coach. Let me just make sure I got everything that I wanted to done. Yes, okay, we did. Okay. Just because if we didn't have everything done, then I'd feel bad if I made a mistake in not getting that. So let's advance a few days. Lume has rejected because of our fan base's attitude towards our team. Are you kidding me? Well, we're the Arizona Coyotes. You'd think it'd be a little bit better than that. Because, like, yeah. Let's try and get that coach again and give him a little bit more money since we do have that in our budget, I believe, to get him still. But, yeah, that guy rejecting is... That's funny. Where are you, Lume? Lume, where are you? You obviously didn't sign anywhere yet. Actually, maybe did you? No, I don't think so. Are you still down here? Or did I miss you? I might have missed you. Yeah, I think I missed you. Let me check here still. Because you didn't sign anywhere. Oh, yeah, there you are. Veteran coach. Let's give you a little bit more money since we do have the budget for now. But like I said, if he doesn't really work well with the team, we could always find ourselves another new head coach. But hopefully we could find somebody that works really well with, like Shelly especially. So let's advance a few days. Hunter Jones is accepted, so there's our new backup goalie for the season. Ginning is accepted as our depth defenseman. And Lume has accepted, which is great. So our team is pretty much ready to go. And okay, now we're getting an offer for Farinacci. Interesting. But a second and a third, but involving a fifth, just because our contract is kind of bad with him. But I'm not going to be trading him just yet. Let's sim up to next season, and we'll probably only simulate a tiny bit of the season. We'll probably, like I said, only sim like halfway through December because of the fact I want to see how this team is simulating first before we decide to get rid of somebody like Zadina. And also, hopefully this coach really works well with some of the younger guys that are coming up in the system because Like I said, we have like 4 players that are jumping up from the AHL to the NHL. Oh yeah, there's that LaRose guy. I didn't sign him. God damn. I forgot about him. He probably signed already somewhere, right? He probably did. Oh no, he's still a free agent, luckily enough. Okay, we're gonna go for him. I'm gonna sign him as well. Give him exactly what he wants. I didn't realize he was still available. And then we just need to wait on Pettersson. But yeah, LaRose, we're going to sign him up because I want to just give him a little bit of a test run. Yeah, a little bit of a test run with our boy and Shelly and see if he could set up Shelly for a lot of goals. Because that would be an interesting dynamic. So Pettersson is still holding out. Maybe his asking prices came down. Let's stop the sim. Because we are kind of late into the offseason. Let's see. Pettersson, RFA. What do you want for 1 year? 3.45. We have the cap space now, so might as well just do it. So we'll do that. And get him in. Because we might as well sign him for what he's asking for. But he's still a little bit of an expensive goalie, which I don't really like. He should accept that. Yeah, there you go. So we got our starting goalie back, which is good. Hopefully Hunter Jones is a pretty solid backup for this team. But yeah, we're getting offered tons of trade offers, so I'm just going to be ignoring all of these for now until we actually get to the season. Okay, so let's see what our lines look like with this new head coach. So, Shelly should be up here. Genther really works well on the top line. Shelly actually works better on the second line, but he does okay on the first line as well. I feel like we should be playing him on the first line almost, but I don't know. We could kind of alternate between that. Zadina should technically be up here in the top 6. Yeah, let's actually go back to that. And then we'll move Sadikov up, Schulz down. So Polvyov I need to take out of the lineup. Who do we got scratched? Shishkinov and LaRose. Okay, I need to get those guys in somehow, which I honestly don't know how I'm going to fit them both in. So I guess we'll take out first. We'll bump McGillis to the center and take out Sapolvyov. And I definitely want to get Shishkinov in. Shishkinov, where does he work best? He works best on the second line. Yeah, Zadina might be kind of like the odd man out here. To an extent. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm going to take Schulz out as well for now, but we are going to have to probably make a trade in next episode, so we'll probably not simulate too much. Just want to see enough of how this team does ahead of time. We'll put LaRose in for the time being as well. How does he work with Shelly, though? Or, maybe I should put Shelly back to the second line. But I would have to take Zadina off that line. He doesn't seem to work well chemistry-wise with him. Yeah, I don't really know where we could slot some of these guys in. Goddamn. I don't think I've ever seen this team so kind of like deep. Yeah, okay, I think that's probably what we would do, but I don't really want to be scratching Schulz or Sapolvyov. Well, Sapolvyov could be depth no matter what. That's fine. Heinola and Sasaki actually have chemistry together, so that was a very good call to bring in Heinola, Dobson, and Tukinen, and in Chikrin and Soderstrom. We could always flip this around just to get a little bit better chemistry, which I'm not opposed to, so I'll do that for now. And then there's our goaltending tandem in Pettersson and Jones. We should probably call up our depth defenseman, and then we will simulate a little bit just to see how this team is, but we might have to make some changes because, yeah, Gallagher is technically ready as well down there in the minors, and Nisimov is technically good enough to be a depth option. So, yeah, we might have to make still some more changes to this team. Ladipov is very close. Baikov is very close. Koltsov is very close. DeMaio is getting close. Like, this team is, like, way too deep almost to an extent. Like, it's almost hard to kind of make a lineup with it. So, we will call up Guinea as our depth defenseman. And then we will go best lines for now in the AHL. Osgood should be playing since he's a low elite. Rabbit should be playing since he's medium elite. Koltsov is scratched. Jesus. We have way too good of players down there. I guess we'll take Semenov because he's not panning out anymore. But in Silverberg. And then we will go to defense. Who the heck do I scratch on this defensive core? Probably Sylvester. Yeah, Sylvester definitely needs to come out for Osgood. And Rutu should come out for Rabbit. And yeah, that's better. But man, this AHL team is crazy good. They better win a Calder Cup this season. Okay, so our team is set up, but like I said, we should be technically calling up Gallagher for this lineup. And then there's also all these guys like Schulz that should be playing technically and all that. We could always trade away somebody, but I don't know. Yeah, we could probably trade away Zadina almost and then move LaRose into the top 6 or move Shishkinov into the top 6. And then we could call up from the minors Gallagher. There might be another player we'd have to move as well on our team to get our lineup set up the way we want to. So yeah, Zadina might be on his way out in next episode. But anyways, let's simulate a little bit just to see how this team does ahead of time. Simulate, like I said, maybe 20 games or something just to kind of get our foot in the door. The season might take a little bit longer than normal just because of the fact we are going through some changes with our team, considering our main roster looks a lot different. So yeah, let's sim through the preseason, and then like I said, we'll probably do till like, let's say maybe December 15th just to see how this team is doing underneath a new coach and a couple new players into the lineup. I'm very excited to see how Sasaki does, especially. So we're 4-2-1 in the preseason, not too bad. And Agostino led the team in points, not a surprise. He's usually near the top in points for us almost every single year. And yeah, let's simulate 1 month at a time, but we will, like I said, do up to December 15th just to kind of get our feet in the door to an extent. And see how we do with Esa Lume as our new head coach as we win our first 2 games, so that's not too bad. There's a 7-1 loss, though, to Edmonton, which is not good. We do not need to claim anybody on waivers. No, thank you. Florida 5-2 win. Kind of a streaky start to an extent, but we are above 500 as Agostino has been injured. That's a big loss. Let's just go replace player. But that's still a big injury here early in the season because I don't think Agostino's ever been injured. But we're 5-3-1 so far. Agostino leading the team in points with 13 points in 9 games. He was off to an incredible start before the injury, but at least it's not too long-term of one. I think it's in November. So let's continue to simulate. Let's do 1 more month, and then we'll do another 2 weeks. But yeah, so far so good, but like I said, I could make some changes in our lineup. Farinacci's now been injured, but at least it's not long-term. But it seems like our big boys are getting slammed with injuries, which is not good. So Schulz gets replaced by Agostino. And then we're just waiting on, Farinacci to return for that second line. So Sobolyov's actually getting some ice time this year, unlike the last few seasons. And he will come out and Farinacci back in. There we go. That's good. But yeah, kind of a streaky start to the year. Not anything incredible, but at least these younger players are getting some experience, I guess. Except for Gallagher, who I'd really like to get into the lineup this year, but it's kind of hard to with your roster being so deep, you know. And last game in a month is another win. So 14-8-1. A lot of extra frame losses or wins, if I'm not mistaken, already on the season, which is kind of crazy. Not too bad. Let's do another 2 weeks, and then that's where we're going to stop right on the 15th. And we'll take a look at our player stats then and whatnot. Yeah, we're having a lot of shootout overtime wins, which is kind of weird, but it is what it is. Okay, so 16-11-1. We are in a wild card spot, so not the greatest start to the season. Don't really know what the problem is, if it's just injuries we had earlier in the year, or if it's just because we do have a lot of younger guys in our lineup. I would really like to get Gallagher up here, but I really don't know where I'm going to slot him in. Let me take a look at our team stats so far for the season, and then we'll take a look at the player stats. So far, where are we in the entire league, out of curiosity? We are currently in 15th. We have 89 goals for in 28 games. Okay, we're allowing too much goals. That's the problem right now. So our defense has to be a little bit better. Power play is incredible right now. 26.9%, which is the second best in the NHL. And our penalty kill is not good. Okay. So let me address our penalty kill lines already. But yeah, we still might need to make some changes to our lineup in terms of trade. So I will show you guys the trading block at the end of this episode as well. I don't like Lawrence being on the 4th line. How has LaRose been? He does pick up a lot of assists. Okay, so I am going to try this and move him up just because we could be moving Zadina out next episode. He's got 17 points this year. He's a -9. So we could be moving out Zadina and then try LaRose and Shelley experiment. See how that is. Yeah, we could try something like that. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do for a little bit of a change. How has Sasaki been? 9 points in 28 games is not too bad. 16 penalty minutes and a +4. So good defensive stuff from Sasaki. Let me make sure he's on the penalty kill lines. Is he on the penalty kill? Yeah, he's on the first penalty kill. Okay, perfect. Exactly what I needed. But yeah, so far this team has been kind of interesting. Like I said, we could try and trade Zadina next episode, and then we could call up Gallagher and keep the rest of the team the way it is. But it is going to make us a little bit weaker on terms of our left wing. So we got to think about that ahead of time. But yeah, Gallagher should be up here. Yeah, because he's killing it right now in the AHL. So we got to find a way to maybe slot him in. Because like we could move Lawrence to this spot, and then we could put Gallagher on that 4th line or something like that. So that is potential changes we could make. Let's take a look at our player stats so far for the season, since we did not take a look at everybody, and see who is doing what. So let's start off with our centerman. Hayton's been pretty solid so far, 22 points. Geeky's been actually really good. Farinacci has been dog crap. Yeah, so, Farinacci might be somebody we look at trading instead of Zadina, or we could trade both of them, but then it's going to make our team not a playoff team probably. But yes, Farinacci right now has not been good. He's not on the power play, it looks like. Geeky is, so maybe we'll change that around again, because for some reason it keeps taking Farinacci off the power play, so we probably will change that. Agostino so far fantastic. Genther so far has been great as well. Zadina's been pretty solid, but a -9 I don't like. Lawrence and LaRose have been good. McGillis has been solid on the 4th line. Shishkinov has been solid. Pretty solid defensive stats as well. Schultz has barely played. And then Sadikov and Shelley have been dirt quiet. Where is Shelley's goal scoring? 2 goals on 28 games. Is he on the first power play unit or no? They might have moved Sadikov into the first power play unit. Or maybe Sadikov's not even on the power play. Okay, our team is really going through some weird stats. And Shelley's contract is starting to look terrible because of that. Is he on the power play? He is not. Why did you take Shelley off the power play? So when Shelley's not on the power play, he's not a good player. Interesting. So we will change that up a bit. I don't know why that was the case. We'll take Shishkinov off the power play as well and throw in Sadikov. I don't know why Shelley was off the power play unit, but our power play doesn't have the greatest chemistry with this new coach. So that's kind of scary. So yeah, that's the only changes we are going to be making. But like I said, we need to get Shelley going if we can. Yeah, we'll try something like that. I don't even know. Yeah, this current coach is kind of a bit weird. Okay, so we'll make those changes. Let's take a look at our defensive stats because I haven't taken a look at those yet. And in our goaltending stats as well, because I don't know how good our goaltending has been. So Soderstrom's been good, Sasaki's been good, but Jacob Chikrin is really falling off. 7 points in 28 games and a -11. And he's already signed for 1 more year after this. My God, I don't know if it's a new coach or not. We might have to find a new coach. Because even though we're simulating decently, a lot of these stat lines are not great. Goalie-wise, Pettersson's been pretty good, actually. But Hunter Jones has been average, I'd say. So yeah, we might need to still look for a new coach. Like, let's take a look at coaching options just in case we want to change your coach. Even though we have a 16-11-1 record, I don't really feel safe with this coach. Because it seems like a lot of guys' stats are stunting a bit. 67% team fit is pretty good, though. So you'd think we'd be doing better with him. Let's just take a look through these other coaches, see if there's anything better than a 67. Anybody in the 70s? There's a 69 in Khalil Klimi. He actually might be the better option. Yeah, he might be the better option. You know what? I'm already going to sign this guy. I don't really care. Yeah, we're going to offer this guy the head coach job. And we will give him more money, But yeah, this guy might be the best option, to be honest. I'm going to sign him because he has better stats than Lume does. And then we will make Lume... We'll fire Lume, I think. Can I fire Lume already? I don't know if I should fire him or somebody else. Yeah, I'm going to just fire him, I think. And then we're going to just, for now, promote Shing to our interim head coach while we get that other guy. Because I think we need a new coach, to be honest. Because I'm not liking Shelly's stats. I'm not liking Chikrin's stats. I'm not liking Sadikov's stats. I don't know. That new coach just really did not fit this team as good as it said. 67%, but a lot of our guys, like our special team, all of a sudden just fell off, I think. Like, our power play was clicking pretty good, it seemed like, but it just... Shelly was really quiet and he was not on the power play, so we needed to make some changes. Let's take a quick look at the trading block, and then that'll be it for this episode. Just because we could make some changes to this lineup still, but yeah, this is a little bit of a weird year for this team for sure. Oliver Shillington, we don't really need defensemen, but yeah, I don't really know what we want to do. Panarin on 1 year left is kind of intriguing, but I don't know if he will fit with our new head coach that we bring in. But he's still a solid player for 1 year left. But yeah, there's definitely some good options out there if we want to make trades. We just got to figure out who to get rid of. Or like I said, well, actually, yeah, we could still get rid of Zadina. I could look at some trade options for Zadina at the end of this episode as well, just to see if it's changed or not. Because if we could find somebody to replace Zadina with, then that'll be good. Or we could just trade him for picks and call up Gallagher and just see how this team plays out for the rest of the season. D'Angelo, Anderson, and Alexiak, so some defensemen. Same with Ferentz and Schneider. I don't know if we should have let go of Braden Schneider or not. I don't know. He's relatively cheap of a player. Foodie, Nick Paul, Sammy Blaze, Bastion, and Reichel. Interesting. Susie. Sharon Govich is up to an 87. Jeez. Forsling, Morgan Riley, a lot of veterans on the block. Kerfoot, Madden, Guryanov, Fabry, and Couturier. Schmaltz is there for 3 years. Kuznetsov on 1 year left. Jeez. A lot of those contracts are pretty expensive players. Brodin, Baudin, Shogeland, interesting. Gooley, Lindell, Kubalik, and Malatesta, also Rathbone. Yeah, I'm kind of like weirded out by how this team's simulating. Like, Shelly literally is all of a sudden not become a good goal scorer, and I'm really concerned about that. I don't know if it's because we got rid of who wasn't. Well, he's not playing with Agostino anymore. That could be part of it. I don't really know. Hopefully, the addition of LaRose onto that second line instead of Zadina gives him some goal scoring, because we really need that goal scoring from him. Because, like, let's just take a look again quickly throughout our lineup. So our top line's been good. You go to our second line, LaRose has now moved up to the second line. He was on the third line before. He's been good. Farinacci and Shelly have both been quiet. We actually should get Farinacci technically power play time as well. Both these guys have not been there at all. Like, their ice time has gone down a lot. I should also maybe put Shelly on the penalty kill. But we don't really know how they're going to fit with the new coach that we got coming. So, but yeah, hopefully LaRose could set up Shelly a bit. And yeah, getting rid of Zadina might be a good option to make for this team, because we need Farinacci to start getting going as well. Let me take Geeky off the power play. Put Farinacci in instead. And yeah, we'll do something like this as well. Put Farinacci in. That makes it worse, but it is what it is. Let's actually go to that. Oh man, I really need this team to get going. I know we have a winning record, but it does not look great. We'll take Agostino. Actually, Agostino is really good on the penalty kill, but he can win faceoffs, right? Yeah, he can. We'll put him there, and we'll take Farinacci off. Throw Shelly on the penalty kill. Yeah, we'll do something like that. Try and get Shelly going as much as possible, and that's good. Yeah, I'm still not sold on this team right now, based on the way they're simulating. But maybe we're just gonna have like one of those weird seasons and we do good. But still, Zadina getting traded away makes kind of sense for Gallagher to be in our lineup or actually even like Schultz. But Schultz is kind of dropping because of morale, I think. Yep. So we might have to trade him away as well. There's always that chance we have to trade him away. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our of our Arizona Coyotes franchise modes. So in next episode, we will simulate more. We might not simulate the rest of the season next episode because this season's kind of a weird one, and obviously we want to be making the playoffs if we can. So we might go through some changes in next episode, including coaches and also new players and whatnot. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.